can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
Man, am I distracted today? I didn't even realize that it was about that time. And yeah, it was I'm only a little bit late, but still late. Still 1 minute late. Hi, welcome. I am no longer streaming on my main channel, so I do not expect this to be a particularly amazing night. But we'll see how it goes. Tonight, it's pretty much just going to be covering a bunch of small topics, and one big one that I have kind of set up. But it's mostly going to be not really news related, more like just general anime related, cartoon related. I have a few trailers to go over and stuff. And then it's on into like anime choreography and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we should start with what's been going on this week. So this week, I actually did watch quite a bit. I haven't caught up on Kaiju number 8 because reasons. I just haven't watched the last episode. I still need to do that. I did, however, watch a little bit of Konosuba. I have watched episode 10. I've been watching the dub, so I'm a little behind. And I love that show so much. Like, you take a parody of isekai and turn it into like an actual like decent fun show. And yeah, I need to do a video on it at some point. I probably will. But it's whatever the hell. So it's been Konosuba. I watched the first 3 episodes of Suicide Squad Isekai, which, admittedly went about as well as I would have expected it to, honestly. Well, no, not honestly. My expectations for it were to either be a dumpster fire or to be absolutely amazing because it had Tape Nagatsuki, the author of ReZero, working on it, and it had Wit Studio, the creator of the Attack on Titan anime. And it turns out the show is just kind of mid. There isn't anything too particularly amazing about it. There's nothing that's too particularly bad, so yay. I guess that's a thing. But I did my video on it, so you can go find that on my main channel, Crimson Law. And then I watched a lot of Spice and Wolf, which I have been enjoying quite a bit. It's a lot of like economics and all of that. But it's a fairly interesting anime. It's a fairly good anime. I probably enjoyed that more than most things I've watched. I wouldn't say most things I watched this week. It's not the thing I enjoyed the most this week, but hey. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft and Warframe lately. Tells you a lot about the kind of person I am. Is I'm a fucking workaholic. I gotta be on that grind at all times because that's all Warframe is just a grind. And Warframe, Minecraft. However, I have done a little bit of reading this week, so I keep a fairly decent digital collection that I keep up with, which right now is uh, Reborn as a Space Mercenary, which fairly alright isekai. I do like that one just because it's a science fiction isekai, not a fantasy isekai. Then we have oh boy, Way of the House Husband. That's the name I'm looking for. Way of the House Husband is enjoyable. It's fun comedy. But other than that, I don't really think it's super special. And then I decided to start a very popular manga, one that I feel like is going to be in the next generation of like big three anime or big three shonen, and that is Gachiakuta, however you pronounce that. And that one, I have read like a chapter and a half, and oh boy, I like the art style. I like the stories. I haven't really seen any like powers or anything yet, but I'm assuming that there's going to be powers. I think it's really good, and the fact that it's getting an anime sometime soon is pretty exciting. So yeah, that's what I've read. And then for indie stuff, I actually did have a couple of things arrive this week. So the first of which, 10, number 3, which I have enjoyed this series. It's kind of like The Boys, I guess. It's a little bit darker of a superhero story, one where people are trying to kill some superheroes and get rid of them because they want the power, they want control for themselves, and they're afraid that these superheroes will stop them. That's what it seems like the plot is, anyway. And then I got Von Kloss, Hitaru Witch Hunter, which I'm a fan of the guy's work. Regardless of what you think about his opinions on other indie creators, he's still a good creator himself. And I try to stay out of that battleground as much as fucking possible because it just ain't worth it to fight other indie creators when all I want to do is read good comics. I don't want to be at odds with guys whose work I like to read and whose work I respect. So, just going to leave it at that. But yeah, that's kind of how my week has been going. It was a little awkward because of the rain and I'm working outside. So that Friday, I didn't do any work at all. Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember. Tuesday or Wednesday, I ended up starting late, I guess, because of the rain again. But it's been weird. It's been a weird week, and I'm trying to get back into the schedule of writing, back into the schedule of making videos. I'm trying to work on like a really big one right now. That's why the Suicide Squad video is like 5 minutes long. It's just like a brief blurb about the series and talking about what I do and don't like. Because a lot of my writing has been, or a lot of my energy has been going towards a video about jobless reincarnation and ReZero, as well as to actually writing a proper book. So, yeah, that's what's going to be going on. That's what we are here to do. But I guess it's time to move into some of the topics and stuff for tonight, which is going to be some memery and some small stuff to start. And I just do want to celebrate the one win that Boruto has finally gotten. Yes, Boruto got a dub, and it is now the most dropped series of all time on my anime list. Oh boy. And this series deserves it, honestly. Apparently, Bleach was the most dropped to begin with, which is, I guess, Bleach is just okay. If Roland were here, he'd probably hang me. But scrolling down into the comments, it's fucking funny. Just all the memes, just my name is mid right here. Also, this is very true. I'm not gonna play anymore because I don't wanna test fate. And also, hey Pilgrim, how you doing? But yeah, Boruto getting an L like this is fucking hilarious to me. I am always down for Boruto hate because Boruto is ass. It is an awful show. I couldn't even make it 10 episodes in, and Naruto is my favorite anime of all time. It was straight up foul. But as a palate cleanser, they have started announcing the cast for the One Piece live action season 2. And honestly, I am very satisfied with all of their picks. So I'm going to bring that up because IGN did me a favor and got a video of all of the cast picks so far in a compilation. So here we go. Can I full screen this?
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back after these messages.
I do really like that one because again, that's the facial structure and all that kind of voice to it. I feel like that's a good pick for just.
Hi guys, just wanted to give you a little heads up that if you're enjoying,
I like that one too. And it looks like what they're going to be doing is everything up to the beginning of Alabasta for this season, which will include Logtown. It'll include, I believe it's Drum Top, because I know they have Wapple and I believe the guy's name is Dante. I forget. So it's going to be interesting. We'll probably see Dragon in here. Who knows who else they're going to stick in, which is kind of why I had an issue with Garp showing up last season.
Our new song, Tamed by Tennessee. The lyric video is now up on YouTube. So,
hey, Dina, I am not getting.
I think this one's probably like the weakest, maybe. But still not like some terrible pick for Tashigi. I still think it's good.
Thing mixed up in your ex drama. Do it yourself.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Can I get a bucket? We're trying to starve us out.
Ah, Crocus. I forgot that he was a character in here. They're gonna have to do that thing like right after they go to the Grand Line, which will be interesting. Again, with all the wacky hairstyles and dresses and clothes of One Piece, it's kind of hard to like really get like how they're going to look as a character. So I'm kind of just looking at like face and voice right now.
We have enough provisions for 2 years.
I was heading home after some.
As Miss Valentine. I don't really remember her much. I just know that she was a bitch, and I was glad that she got taken out.
Found a piece about matricide when an older man spilled wine on my tunic.
You so salty.
Dalton, that's the character's name. Again, I do kind of like it. It's kind of hard, though, to get like that.
I just reckoned you'd be the perfect person to help me pick a place.
As far as the voice goes, again, another one that I do think, well, on the weaker side, but yeah, there's been a lot of positive stuff about it. Honestly, I was expecting it to be garbage, As far as I understand, Eiichiro Oda is very defensive of his of his creation, and he likes to be involved in literally everything that is One Piece because he wants it to be just that way. So I'm expecting this will probably be of similar quality, but we will see.
My
Mr.
subconscious.
Five.
Medlo, whatever he is, he's not.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have to do Little Garden. Did I mention Little Garden? Either way, the Giants is gonna be fucking funny. So Broggy and Groggy, I think, are the names.
None of those things. The men saw him as an answer.
Dory. Okay, I do like the cast for the Giants. I think they've picked some good ones.
Father, please just listen to me. All right, the crimes committed under
Sort of like the. Yeah.
the king's
Okay, I like it.
cannot be.
No more. We're going to take a quick break and
And that's about it. That's all they've shown so far. But there's a bunch of other characters that are going to have to fit in there. So they have not shown anything for Chopper. Who else? They have they have all of the other Baroque works villains. So like it'll be interesting to see what they do for characters like Miss Monday. But has there been a successful live action adaptation for anime as this one? I think this is the only one. Some of the Japanese adaptations, I believe, as much as I hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I have heard people talk about how it's one of the few good live action adaptations. But even then, the Japanese live action adaptations aren't the most amazing because they suffer some of the same problems as like American live action stuff. They don't properly adapt source material. It's interesting though because one of my favorite series out of last year, Oshinoko, is getting a live action adaptation by a Japanese director. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see whether that plays out really well for them or not. Because yeah, I mean, Cowboy Bebop was a disaster. Their Death Note adaptation was a disaster. I heard there's a Bleach one. I don't want to know. Dragon Ball Evolution. Nobody talks about Dragon Ball Evolution. Knights of the Zodiac was apparently a good movie, but a terrible adaptation. There's a live action Naruto movie, which they're starting with the fourth Great Ninja War, which could cause problems because the best parts of Naruto are like right at the end where Naruto has his final duel with Sasuke and the Pain arc. And the beginning of the fourth Great Ninja War, technically, when Madara shows up. So yeah, they're skipping a lot of like good stuff, and they're going straight for probably one of the least successful parts of Naruto. And it looks like they're going to be doing the whole Infinite Tsukuyomi battle against Kaguya sort of thing. Not a fan of that because Kaguya was never a very good villain to begin with. So yeah, live action adaptations have not been very successful. It's something about the medium change is the problem, first of all. Then you also have to deal with the fact that these creatives like to take their liberties with source material and do stuff. That's why everyone raged about the Faye Valentine design for the Cowboy Bebop live action, and why Spike doing like a flip kick and hitting a poker chip at someone or kicking a poker chip at someone was mocked. That was, yeah, it was all around not a very good experience. So I try to stay away from the live action adaptations. I don't know where I want to go next. Maybe, maybe we'll just get right into this one because this is insane. This was done with like specific tools, but someone recreated a scene from or a place from Attack on Titan entirely in Minecraft. Which is impressive regardless of how you want to say it. I mean, spending 2 months building Shiganshina. Ooh, boy. Yeah, they have a full video. Ooh. Ooh, someone else is doing like a small scale Shiganshima. It's actually kind of cool. Either way, I just wanted to gawk at this because I've been kind of playing a little bit of Minecraft myself. And now this is done in creative with like editing tools that are like programmed to do a lot of these like towers and stuff and like these segments of wall en masse. So it's not like they're like he took all the time to put every one of these things individually together. No, a lot of it was done with tools and like world paint and all that kind of stuff. But I went and checked out the guy's channel, and he's done a lot of stuff like this. Like he was live streaming earlier in the week, doing a build of Castle in the Sky, which is a Studio Ghibli movie. Cool stuff. It's cool stuff, if you ask me. This might end up being a pretty short one, but I guess since I'm still the only one here, I'm just going to get into this one because this one was kind of just a topic I pulled up entirely for myself to talk about. So you can only keep one of them. The rest will have to go. So these are basically 4 of the most popular like isekai series you can get. You have the first one here on the top left, ReZero, and then you have Jobless Reincarnation, and down in the corner, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and the Rising of the Shield Hero. Now, right off the bat, I'd probably just axe that time I got reincarnated as a slime and Rising of the Shield Hero because the reason that the Rising of the Shield Hero succeeded so heavily in the first season was because it came out during like the height of Me Too. And it was a story about a dude who was falsely accused of sexually assaulting a princess because the princess wanted to get on the good side of someone else in the story. Sorry, random message pop up. After that point, the story started going downhill because it kind of didn't address the big plot points that it set up. It kind of painted this like whole thing of like, hey, this is a war between like worlds set up by these omnipotent beings who want to just entertain themselves. So they are putting 2 different worlds at war with each other. The time I got reincarnated as a slime, a lot of city building, a lot of politics, like boring kind of politics. Not really the most interesting thing, especially because like the action doesn't really give a whole lot of payoff. Season 2 had one really good scene where the main character decides he's going to go full villain mode for a little bit and just murder like 20,000 people all at once. So that was a cool little moment. And then we get to Jobless Reincarnation and ReZero, and it gets really, really hard to decide which one I would get rid of. Because they're both absolutely fantastic. And honestly, just for personal reasons, I'd probably pick ReZero because it's one of my favorite anime of all time. So is Jobless Reincarnation, but ReZero is like number 2. Jobless Reincarnation is like number 6. Both are absolutely fantastic, written by authors who are really good friends and incredible writers for different reasons, who have both made some of the most misinterpreted and misunderstood protagonists of all time. Which I mentioned a video earlier in the stream about how I'm working on something big for Jobless Reincarnation and ReZero. That's kind of the subject I was dealing with, was the fact that both these guys, Rudius Greyrat and Subaru Natsuki, get disastrously misrepresented on the internet. It's a thing. So I think I'd probably end up going with ReZero because it's the one I like more. But if you're looking for really good action and really good storytelling, you can't go wrong with either of them. It's just ReZero is going to be a lot of pain and watching a lot of gore. And Jobless Reincarnation, there's going to be a lot of sex. That is unfortunately just how it goes. And then we get to move on into some cringe trailers. And I don't know if I've mentioned this on any of my streams, but I do not like Rick and Morty. I watched like 2 seasons of Rick and Morty, and at that point I was like, all right, this is enough. It's just kind of eh. It was just okay at that point. So then they go and announce that the Rick and Morty anime is a thing. And I am really hoping that this is not their A game, because this is not at all a good trailer. Like right off the bat, you can tell the animation just freaking sucks. Like, what's with that freeze frame shit on the dumbest moment possible? So, like, right here. Why freeze frame it? Why? And then, of course, the character designs just don't translate very well. The most boring, mundane animation. I don't even know what to say about this. I don't even... All I can say is if this is their A game, this isn't what, anime is about. And I could I'm going to pull up some good stuff right after this and sort of... I can show... Like, this seems like the kind of thing you would see like a behind the stage sort of thing. And I guess I'll pull up this right now. How can I ever hope to face him? This is from Naruto, which was back in like the 2000s, okay? Like, compare the fucking animation. I can see. Okay. I have cleansed my palate of that stuff. We'll get back to that clip later. But I kind of want to make the point of like why I have such a huge problem with the way particularly America and Hollywood does animation. Because a lot of times we'll take like the Rick and Morty stuff that I just showed, the Rick and Morty anime, like, oh, that's good enough. Yeah, no one's really going to care. But if you're going to present me an animated action sequence, it better look fantastic. The whole point of an action, of like a action sequence, is to look good, to look well choreographed, to be fun and exciting. I shouldn't be sitting there like, is this really happening? You expect me to feel tension from something that is boring and static and has no passion put into making it. I think that's probably like one of the most frustrating things is there could be really good animated stuff coming out of our coming out of the United States, coming out of the West, but for some reason we just won't do it the same as the most popular form of animation in the world right now. I mean, there's no arguing that anime isn't the most popular form of animation at the moment because it's fantastic. So then you get these like imposters, like it's an anime, and really all it does is just copy big eyes and bright colored hair and claim to be an anime. And that was like one of my huge complaints about the Suicide Squad Isekai. It was actually done by a Japanese studio, WIT Studio. And the choreography is good. It's just for some reason the animation is really fucking freeing. Like it's not smooth like the stuff the way Sasuke versus Orochimaru is, or the way a lot of good anime fights are. So clearly it's not impossible. Clearly it can be done. You can make good stuff. They just won't. Which is another thing I'm kind of skeptical about when it comes to War of the Rohirrim, is it seems that when like Western studios get involved in anime, they tend to mess things up. Warner Bros. Track record for handing off their properties to make anime out of has not been good. Yeah, it doesn't count. They do what that Superman show does is it rips off of a superior series, Dragon Ball Z, every time. Supergirl looks like Android 18. The Kryptonians are dollar store Saiyans. They made Mr. Mixel Spitlick look like one of the Kais. But yeah, they don't capture any of the good parts of anime in that series. Like you could do some really cool stuff with if you like gave Superman or Batman over to a studio like Madhouse or UFO Table. They do some amazing bits of animation. Like UFO Table did like Fate and Demon Slayer. The fights in those scenes in those series look freaking fantastic. I mean, Mugen Train's a work of art. And Red Light District season 2. Yeah, one of the best like episodes of anime I've ever watched because of that fight scene between Tengen and Gyutaro. No, there are a lot of DC characters you could do like really good with. So like for the Flash, you could do some really cool stuff. There's actually a scene from My Hero Academia season 5 where a character who has super speed is using his powers and it looks really, really good. If they did that kind of treatment with it, the Flash you could do some really cool effects with. Batman, you give a series some really good choreography like Naruto did, you could make an amazing Batman animated series out of that. And with Superman, I mean, he's Superman. You could the point is that the West is focused on the wrong parts of anime. It's also more than the animation, but the reason that it works so well for the Japanese is because they're taking it really seriously. And they are actually like trying to produce things that are high quality. In the United States, cartoons are kind of just treated like like they're for a niche audience. We don't need to make them super popular because the people who like cartoons are just going to consume whatever slop we give them. Which I feel like is a disservice to the whole thing. Again, I feel like we did actually do one really good animated project recently, and that was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The animation in that, especially when they got to like action sequence and fighting, amazing. They did really good with that. And if we saw more of that kind of animation, same with Blue Eye Samurai, actually. Blue Eye Samurai was another one that actually felt like it had really good animation. But this Rick and Morty stuff, where you have designs like this, and you're freeze framing it like and you're freeze framing it like it's an old anime. One of the reasons I shit on Bleach so much is because of shit like this. And same with Fairy Tail. To answer your question, I never actually watched Arcane. I know everyone says it's really, really good, but every time I go to watch it, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I can't even start it because it's just kind of uninteresting to me. And it's funny too, because you have Rick and Morty's fucking animation here. And all they do to describe it as anime is give it a slightly different color palette, sharper eyes, and put it in Japanese. That is an anime. The Suicide Squad isekai legitimately does capture a lot about anime. And I think that's probably like the only thing that makes it halfway watchable. But you have this whole action sequence that looks worse than like even the most mundane section of like a slice of life series like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. You're getting your ass kicked by a fucking slice of life series in animation. You are fucking up big time. Because again, an action sequence should be something that gets me really hype, really excited, something that makes me like get pumped, like jump up and be like, oh shit, that looked good. Like Sukuna versus Mahoraga. Like the end of Frieren. What else? And that would be something I would like dedicate an entire stream to, is going over like some of the best fight scenes in anime. But I tried that all the way back when I first started streaming, and that one got taken down about 40 minutes in. Yeah, it was a thing. But as long as we're on the topic of animation, I'm going to get back into like really one of the biggest parts of a fight that make it really come alive. And going back to Sasuke versus Orochimaru, it's the choreography and the way action and motion is handled. Like the way this looks, fantastic.
A Sharingan windmill triple attack.
This sounds like a different dub than what I watched.
Fire style dragon flame jutsu.
Oh no, it's definitely the same dub. Either way, the old stuff that and I will minimize this really quick. The old stuff that like old anime and a lot of new anime have a good combination of like animation flair and well choreography that make fight scenes like that really look good. It's kind of one of the points I wanted to make is sure having flair is we're kind of going to get into some more Naruto stuff here. Having flair is cool and all that like um Dragon Ball Z and stuff has that sort of like hype train kind of animation. But when you get down to choreography, I don't feel like anything um is as good as Naruto. So yeah, this is like some of the best bits of choreography and stuff from like Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto. So this is Boruto. Here's adult Sasuke fighting. I should probably turn the music way down because I could get copyrighted. One of the best fights in Naruto right here. Oh God, why do you do this? I want you down. Momoshiki versus Naruto and Sasuke, just for the fucking choreography, is amazing. And here's another like redeeming quality of Boruto, like with the two good things about it, these two fight scenes. And the whole like Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance, that was another fucking great one. Black Ops Kakashi. And then Naruto versus Sasuke, huh? And it's just going to loop back to more and more and more of this stuff. Yep. I believe that's from an intro, though, so I don't think that one counts. I guess my point is the best looking animated fight sequences are going to be the ones that actually take time to like show how things are moving in the scenes. Again, I point to the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. They actually did a really good job of using that 3D animation and pairing it with something that kind of layered it down a bit to closer to 2D while they were fighting. And it made every action sequence in that movie really freaking good. On top of that, it was also a really good story. I fucking love that movie, and I need to get a copy of it physical because it's a banger. But Western cartoons just won't do that kind of stuff. Some of them will. Some of them do some good stuff. But a lot of them just they either have like decent choreography and bad animation or decent animation and bad choreography. And like one of the most popular cartoons out here is Invincible. And again, one of the problems I have with that is motion feels too unnatural in it. So like you could pull up a couple of scenes of like Omni-Man and Invincible flying around as compared to other things. They feel like they don't belong on the screen with everything else because of the way they're moving across it. It creates this sort of like dissonant feeling where you're looking at it and you're like, all right, something about that seems wrong. Like the animation could have been done better. The hyper smoothness of it kind of gives it away. And again, in Invincible, they have the opportunity to do some really good action sequences, but I feel like their animation fails. Like, yeah, the story's cool and it's kind of fun to watch the fights, but I mean, compared to fights from anime, it's like not even close. If you want a really, really good action sequence, though, watch Jinro Wolf's Brigade. The final act of that movie in the sewers is really freaking good for animation. And I wish more series nowadays would do that kind of gore and stuff. So I don't know why American studios do not want to try to capture um the hype and the fun of like Japanese animation, why they want to continue to stick with like just good enough. But it's been the problem with it for quite a while now, and I'm getting really disappointed with it. That you either get like cartoons like Rick and Morty, or you get cartoons that are just kind of all over the place, like My Adventures with Superman. Either way, it could have been good, but no. No, they biffed. They screwed up. All right, well, let's find the last few things to talk about because well, because for as long as we're on the topic of, Western animation, we're going to get into another one of the problems with it. And that is people opening their mouths and saying too much. So I have no clue why anyone is shocked by the stuff and the information revealed about Bruce Timm's new Batman Caped Crusader. The show was already dead on arrival the moment Bruce Timm said this.
We deal with the characters is going to be quite a bit more modern in terms of inclusivity, representation, things like that. The way we
So yeah, there's that, and then it kind of goes into the whole lesbian Harley Quinn thing. Now, I think this show has other problems, namely the fact that the Batman voice kind of sucks. And you can sort of like go through and nitpick all of like the things that are wrong with that show and just like talk about everything that's bad about it. Yeah. But I don't want to sit here and be like the guy who's fucking e-fapping a Batman trailer. Because that, I don't know, I feel like it's not worth it. I have no faith in the way Western animation is being done, especially when it's a Jar Jar Abrams project. Yeah, it's doomed. But like, if we're look, for as much as I want to hate on the left for like being like driven by their politics and stuff, the right's attempt to sort of like counter is just as bad. I mean, look at like all of the like the Daily Wire stuff that they do. They prove that they understand art and entertainment just as little as the left. And the last thing I do want to get into tonight is kind of the epitome of that. And I kind of want to talk a bit about how the right has largely failed, at least the big time right wingers have largely failed at producing any sort of good counter to the way culture has gone. So, if you aren't aware, the new Norm show is a thing that's coming out, and it's the South Park of X. Check out the mini pilot of the first animated sitcom on X featuring Larry Elder, Dave Rubin. Oh, geez. Awaken with JP, and a special appearance by animated Elon Musk. And look, I'm just going to warn you right now, grab your fucking drink and be ready for some cringe, because this thing is awful.
What's that?
Progress. It's the new norm.
The new norm ain't the same as the old norm.
I'm the old norm. I want normal beer.
Warning, perimeter reached.
Ugh. It's your fault I got house arrest.
You're the one who threatened the school board.
I gently suggested
Yelled.
they stop brainwashing my daughter that girls aren't girls and men aren't men.
Sometimes they're neither, or both, or furry and dressed like dogs.
Ow! Janice. What's that?
Warning, offensive.
And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the entire show. That is this entire trailer. It is 4 minutes long, and it is all just the sort of stupid conservative humor you would expect. And look, yeah, okay, that was the right button. And look, I'm not opposed to making jokes, making fun of a bunch of people. That's not my issue. But I do need to make the point that what this show suffers from is the same kind of spite towards other people that I think is absolutely unacceptable from the left. It's absolutely unacceptable when it comes to like Star Wars and Marvel and all of that. It's the same sort of preachy, aggressive kind of humor that I would get on any leftist producer for. It's not good. It's spiteful. And if conservatives are just going to give in to spite and they're just going to do the same thing that the left is going to do, they're not going to win. Because people are going to look at them, they're going to be like, well, this is the same kind of shit that I didn't like about the other side. And the only time they're going to have any wins is with people who are already on their side and be like, oh, yeah, take that. Look, you see, it's not so funny now when we're the ones doing it, right? Suck it. And to sort of tie this into something that I do kind of want to touch on, that's why I do love a lot of like small indie creators. Because they're not out here trying to preach something to you. They're just making good comics. They're just making fun stories. And again, that's why I like manga and stuff. Because while it does have a message, while you can interpret stuff out of it, say like Re:Zero, or Jobless Reincarnation, or Mob Psycho, or Naruto, or literally anything. Hell, you could make Attack on Titan about why racism is bad, and, well, it's still a fucking great story. Because it isn't spiteful. It isn't preachy. It focuses on being good entertainment. So yeah, conservatives are basically becoming the very thing they're railing against. Which is why the Daily Wire shit always fails. Which is why this is going to fail. And trust me, it gets worse. They get into the point where the fucking gender non-binary thing is behind the couch talking with all like the fucking creepy department heads in the White House, you know, like the trans military chick and the bald energy secretary or whatever. Yeah. You know what? I'll just I'm going to bring this up. I'm not going to play it, but I have to show this image because this is an actual thing that is in the trailer. It's a load of shit. So there are a few things that the good things that do get made. A lot of people are praising House of the Dragon. Congratulations, House of the Dragon is good. But what about the other 99% of entertainment? I don't think you're going to be having a whole lot of fun with just one show, which means you either need to go back to the old stuff. Fair enough. I respect it. I've been watching some old stuff lately, like I said a couple weeks ago. I've been watching westerns with my dad. Or you can go to manga and anime, which is kind of my bread and butter, the thing I enjoy the most. And you get some really good stuff. There is going to be some weird things and some things that'll make you uncomfortable. Part of the reason why jobless reincarnation isn't more popular is because people feel uncomfortable about some of the things that happen in that series, particularly because of the main character. Or you can go support a little guy who makes something for himself, and does it for fun because he actually likes entertainment. And I don't know, maybe you get in on the next big property before it became popular, and you can rub it in everyone else's faces. You can be that guy. Either way, going forward, we do need to focus on making new stuff. We can't just stick to the old stuff, because when it comes to the next generation, who is going to, make the thing that's for the next generation? Star Wars and stuff. Unfortunately, it's all those things are kind of outdated at this point. They shouldn't be. There are things that probably should have had quite a bit more lifetime to them. But the fact is that the new generation wants something that's tailored to them. They need something that's tailored to them. Otherwise, you're literally just abandoning people younger than us. And I'm 24. I'm talking about like people who are still in or who are 8 to 10. They're not getting a whole lot of good stuff because either you have preachy leftists who are busy making things suck, or you have conservatives and right wingers who are either making the sort of like edgy adult stuff they enjoy, or are just making spiteful bullshit like the new Norm Show. Which again is why I do heavily encourage going to indie comics and finding good stuff and supporting people who are actually making fun things. And this whole thing, the fact that like this upcoming generation doesn't get a whole lot of stuff targeted specifically at them. That's why the Amazing Digital Circus blew up. It's absolutely free. You can watch it on YouTube for free. And, well, it's targeted at a younger demographic. And frankly, it's actually pretty good. Like, I watched both episodes and I thought it was great. But no, we're too focused on making spiteful bullshit and on making things to fulfill our own desires and fighting over properties that are long dead now. We're too busy doing all of that to actually focus on making the next set of cultural icons that will give a generation something to enjoy together. And by doing so, you are conceding that ground to a bunch of people who want to use it to indoctrinate everyone who tunes in. So yeah, that's kind of the show for tonight. I mean, could be worse, I guess. But yeah, I do want to start doing more indie comic stuff because I feel like that really deserves the attention. I like doing the anime stuff because it's something that a lot of people are already into. It's not hard to like talk to people about like anime and stuff because it's fairly popular. Indie comics still pretty niche. And with the AI stuff, the unfortunate reality is there are a lot of indie creators who have huge beefs with any sort of AI usage. It's dumb. I still think it's a tool. And as far as that's concerned, I feel like Disparu has probably the most logical approach to it. I don't care how it's made. I just care like what it actually is. If it's entertaining to me, cool. If it used AI and it's entertaining to me, cool. I can also still sort of respect the way some artists are skeptical of the use of AI. But in the end, it's like, okay, why? Obviously, hand drawn stuff is always going to have more of an appeal, at least to me, to someone who's an enjoyer, than AI stuff. As long if it's entertaining and you used AI, cool, fine. I don't really give that much of a shit about it. But something about the handcrafted parts of it, like when it comes to manga, you can tell when something is like an industrialized sort of thing, like with a lot of isekais and rom-coms and stuff. And you can tell when something is really, truly passionately cared for, like Don to Don. And it shows in quality. But that said, because I'm alone, I'm not going to get into like much of the shenanigans stuff because it's kind of boring to do all that stuff alone to like get into memes and all of that. So we have hit the hour mark, and I think I'm probably going to call it here. So if you're curious, to anyone listening, this is being broadcast on my live channel, which is where I'm going to be doing all of my streaming from now on. Because when you stream and make videos on YouTube on the same channel, it fucks with your views. You make a video and then you live stream, it stops pushing the video, which I have had videos perform pretty well and then get killed by my live streams, which sucks. I don't want that to happen, but it's just how it works. So from now on, I'll be streaming exclusively on Twitter and on my Crimson Live channel, which I've renamed that like 3 or 4 times now because I couldn't make it up. Eventually, if I can get this YouTube thing going, I'll probably start another channel that is specifically for doing all my indie comic stuff. But for now, it is going to be mostly anime and cartoons and all that kind of stuff. So that's how it's going to be. That said, I do appreciate everyone who showed up. My main channel, if you're listening to this post, is Crimson Law. You can go find me there. I do a lot of videos and stuff. And you can find me on Twitter at Isaac Hendren. It's perfectly fine if you go and troll me or whatever, do whatever you want. Thank you for the time and the attention. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. When I see you next, it'll be the weekend after the 4th of July. So happy America Day, everyone. And God bless. Good night.